Alright, I was gonna do this whole opening skit where I put on the Batman mask, but it makes my head too sweaty and I just got out of the shower and I was like, it's not worth it. So it's being reported on the internet that Christopher Nolan will be acting as a producer on the Justice League movie, and the big news is Christian Bale might be returning as Batman. So today we're talking about the reality of that news actually being true. Christian Bale coming back as Batman, a good idea, a bad idea? Is there a possible Batman cameo in The Man of Steel? Okay, I'm gonna relax as I talk to you. Why do I have to set up straight? What is this? Grammar school? This is a YouTube video, damn it. I'm gonna do what I want. So Christopher Nolan, the director of the Dark Knight trilogy, is basically being grandfathered in as this acting overhead producer, the end-all be-all. He's kind of like the decision maker on the future of all Warner Brother DC comic book movies. Okay, I'm gonna set back up. What that basically means for all the upcoming comic book movies put out by DC and Warner Brothers is they're all going to have the same kind of tone and feel. That way they don't all feel like sloppy messes, you know, not interconnected. We're talking about Green Lantern. That way when they finally do make a Justice League movie, it feels cohesive. Now listen, I'm a huge Batman fanboy. I mean, look at this shirt. I got the shirt, and I even have Robin on it. Look at him. You're lucky Bruce Wayne adopted your little ass. If it was me, I would have had little orphan boy scrubbing my my mansion. That's why he made you wear your little green pantyhose to do it. Okay, that's going on way too long. Anyway, Christian Bale back as Batman. Now, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Now, I can see where Warner Brothers is coming from. They're like, you know what? That guy made a lot of money. He's a pretty damn good Batman. But you know what? I didn't mind it. I was like, yeah, if you're gonna put a guy dressed as a bat and try to make him intimidating, have a badass, scary voice. I wouldn't know what to think if I was a criminal and that guy came up on me. You know, I'm in an alleyway selling crack cocaine or something, because I'm not like a mastermind. I wouldn't be the Joker or the Riddler. I'd just be a drug dealer in Gotham. And I'd be like, yeah, you guys, here it is. And he comes behind me, where is it? I'm like, dude, here it is. Get the fuck out of here. I'm scared. Now, another thing about Bale coming back to play Batman, he's already said it before. He's like, if Christopher Nolan's involved and there's a good script, I'm down to do it. Another thing about Bale as Batman, well, they already kind of built him as Batman for the last, 7 years in the Dark Knight trilogy. So to kind of keep him around just makes a little bit of sense. Now, we're going to talk about The Dark Knight Rises and the way that ended in the Christopher Nolan universe in just a second, but bear with me. Now, if you include the Christopher Nolan pre-established Batman that we got in the Dark Knight trilogy into the new upcoming Justice League movie, where he's alongside Superman, the Green Lantern, and the Flash. Now, the Batman that we got in the Christopher Nolan movies was very down-to-earth, very realistic. He's a grappler, he's not moving super fast. I mean, for the most part, in the comic books and animated series, Batman had a lot of agility about him. He's very fast on his feet, he could move around, he could flip, and he had a little bit of a super strength thing going on. Even though they could never truly admit it, Batman, had the strength of like 2 or 3 guys. Here's all I'm saying. When you take that pre-established Batman and you put him in this universe with characters that actually have superpowers, he's gonna come across as the weak link. And if you keep him the same way he was in the Dark Knight trilogy, I don't think he's gonna fit in very well. I mean, think about it. In the Dark Knight Rises, Batman could barely beat Bane, and he's actually taller than the damn guy in the movie. Now, what is he gonna do when Doomsday comes around and starts kicking ass? So here's what they're gonna have to do to make Christian Bale work as Batman if they're gonna put him in the Justice League movie. They're basically gonna have to change the story arc of Batman, kind of like what they do in the comic books every couple years. They kind of reinvent the superhero. Well, you know what? Keep what they did in the Dark Knight Rises trilogy. That happened. It's there. Don't erase it. But this new version of Batman, just kind of improve on him, you don't have to explain every little detail of why he's a little bit stronger or more agile. Now, am I a little bit conflicted on this? Yeah, just a little bit, because I love that version of Batman that Christian Bale gave us. And then another part of me thinks, wow, who the hell is going to keep up with Christian Bale's Batman? I mean, come on, who are they going to cast? Chris Pine? Fuck that. Now let's talk about the biggest downside to this whole thing. You have The Dark Knight Rises, where it basically concluded the Batman trilogy, and it made a point to show that Batman is done being Batman. Bruce Wayne just wants to hang out with Catwoman, drink martinis as his butler watches from a distance. They don't say anything. He just walks away, which I always thought was kind of rude. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit complicated. In the previous Dark Knight films, he had Morgan Freeman, Lucius Fox, basically being his gadget guy. Without him, he wouldn't have had the tumbler, all the cool gear, the bat suit. So if you're going to bring Batman back in the Justice League movie, he's going to need a new gadget guy, or hell, bring Morgan Freeman back. Because let's face it, if you don't back up the fact that Batman needs his utilities and gadgets and his billions of dollars to be who he is, and that's his kind of upper hand, is not having superpowers, you're going to have to explain where those things are coming from in the Justice League movie. And in the Dark Knight Rises, are basically, yeah, all that shit's gone, and your autopilot was fixed somehow. Even though we showed you 5 seconds before, actually 3 seconds before the bomb blew up, and you were okay. Now, I was okay with that. I get it. And as far as making the Dark Knight Rises ending still meaningful, well, yeah, you could still say Joseph Gordon-Levitt took over the gear and is still the Batman of Gotham City. And now Christian Bale is the Batman for the planet. He's on the Justice League. He's trying to save the planet. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's still kind of the crime fighter of Gotham City. So there's still meaning there. Now, here are a few of my final thoughts on this. If you bring back Christian Bale as Batman in the Justice League movie, Warner Brothers, the studio, almost shoots themselves in the foot, because here's what I'm talking about. If you bring him back, a pre-established Batman who already had a trilogy that took place in Gotham City where he did everything he possibly could have, playing the new Batman in the Justice League movie, it kind of ruins the chance for future installments of a solo Batman movie, because what are you going to have him do? He's already done it all. I don't know, it's kind of a confusing mess, and these were just my quick thoughts on it, but here's what I want down below. Do you guys think this is a good idea as Christian Bale coming back as Batman, or a bad idea? And if you guys could recast Batman and reboot the character, what actor would you have play the new Batman? Now, the other day on my Facebook page, I asked a lot of you guys, what do you guys think about Bale's Batman again? And some of the responses are pretty enlightening and made me start thinking a little bit more about the whole concept. Mahita Gibson says, Bale's Batman is so different and serious, I'm not sure his version of Batman would fit in with the more comic book style of the Justice League, because the mood of the films are so opposite. But since Bale is the most recent version of Batman, it might be difficult to replace him with another actor. I personally liked Michael Keaton's version better. He was edgy, but he still had an element of humor in his performance. You wanna get nuts? I'll get nuts. Let's get nuts. That was my impression of Michael Keaton. Jamie Arturo Pacheco, we need a new Batman. We need DC stories to take a new direction. As much as I love Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, I think for this one, we need a new director, a new Batman story. Nolan's Batman story ended with The Dark Knight Rises. To continue with that story would be a big mistake. Oh, and by the way, if you guys haven't already, like my Facebook, there's a link down below in the description. That's where I share my inner dark thoughts with you, and I share a lot of other odd things. Anyway, guys, those are just my quick thoughts on this Christian Bale Batman speculation, news, rumor type stuff. Make sure you check out my last video where we talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and I go down to my basement. It gets a little bit creepy, gets a little bit weird. Check that out, and I'll see you guys next time.